Hello, good evening. Welcome to econometric modeling. In my previous video, I have already explained that how to rename the variables, how to change the label, and how to generate the variables, and how to take log of the variables. That we take the natural logs of the variables because it reduce the variance, and when it is especially when it is a long time series data, we take the log of the variables because it reduce the variance and make the variables values stable. For example, if we write down here the describe uh, here we if we see that these are variables without logs, and these are with logs, so values are less deviated from the previous values, which is more appropriate for time series analysis. So now we will move to the to check the stationarity of time series variables, because at the end we will estimate the var model. Now I have already made a do file that I was using, and I used it in my previous video, in which the I entered the data, and I explained that how to describe the time series data and how to generate and log the take log of the variables. Now we will move to word stationarity. How to check the stationarity? Uh, because for the var for estimating the var model, we must have to check the variables are stationary or integrated order one or not. So here we will use the Dickey Fuller test, that is for to check the stationarity. We For checking the stationarity we use here you can see that D Fuller Y, D Fuller GDP, D Fuller labor. When we enter these commands, it will give us a dialog box of estimating the uh, estimating the Dickey Fuller test, that will tell us either the variable is stationary or not. For example, I wrote down this D Fuller Y, and I execute it. So, so the stata estimated the augmented Dickey Fuller test here is that is unit root, either the variable is stationary or not non-stationary. The stationarity means the mean, and mean is zero, variance is constant, and cross covariance is also zero. That is the necessary requirement for a stationary variable. So here you can see that the null hypothesis is the variable is non-stationarity, non-stationary. So if you see that the p-value is supporting the null hypothesis, that is 1. So each degree, we can say that our variable y variable is a non-stationary. So now we check the stationarity of GDP. It is also non-stationary variable. Now if for example we uh, check the station apply the Dickey Fuller test on log of GDP. Now here you can see that it is stationary, it is stationary variable at 10% level of critical value, because it is its p value is 7%. If we multiply it by 100, so it would be 7%. It means that it